Anton Chaitkin is my next guest, a historian and author of the book Who We Are, America's Fight for Universal Progress from Franklin to Kennedy, Volume 2, 1830s to the 1890s. He joins me now. Anton, nice to have you on the program.
Very good to be back in the middle of a crisis.
Yeah,
Steve.
Let's talk about what's really happening here. You've got Donald Trump on Truth Social saying he wants total surrender. You've got the Iranians posturing as if they're going to attack U.S. military bases in the Middle East, which I don't think they will, but, you know, at this point, who knows? They're pushed into a corner. Israel, meanwhile, continues to punish them. They've taken out more than 40% of their missile launches, done significant damage to their nuclear infrastructure. But Fordo, that's the big facility that's a half-mile underground in a mountainside that remains unscathed. The only people that can touch that, from what I understand, would be the Americans, which would bring us into the war. It takes a 35,000-pound bunker buster, Moab, mother of all bombs, to get in there. By your estimation, where are we in all of this?
Well, there's a globalist apparatus that's deeply hostile to the United States that's pushing the president in this tragic direction. There is no emergency from Iran. There is no active nuclear weapons program in Iran. Tulsi Gabbard was talking about something pretty widely known in international circles. There's a history to this, and what it points to is that the globalist banking and other apparatus with the combined intelligence services of several countries, deeply hostile to our country, trying to end the threat of Donald Trump and the USA defying them on the program of our voters, which was rebuild the USA and get peace in these regions, for both wars. And there is no threat to the United States and no active threat to Israel. The history of this is that the United States in the past promoted nuclear science and nuclear energy programs for Iran. That was the American Patriots. The dullest faction, the Anglo-Americans.
Well, it's been a long time. I don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Yeah. I'll just be blunt about that from where I stand. Yeah. And let's sort this out a little bit. Tulsi Gabbard, okay. You're saying she was right, and yet numerous sources that I have in Washington and elsewhere that are reliable sources that are not politically motivated say that she was wrong, that Iran was a lot closer to having a crude nuclear weapon of some sort within a couple of weeks of when this attack began, 2 to 4 weeks. The window given to me by a number of people who are not political and have pretty good intelligence. So for me, it's mixed information, to say the least, sir.
Was Liz Cheney part of that circle?
No, she was not, and I appreciate the sarcasm.
To Iran against the alleged nuclear weapons there. What was the tragic outcome there? It was that we.
Well, I get that, but we can't compare. We can't compare what Liz Cheney did, and Liz Cheney was not part of my no. And so, like I said, I appreciate the sarcasm, but the fact of the matter is, I do have a lot of decent sources in Washington and around the country who believe that Iran was a lot closer than we were told.
What are the Iranians saying?
Say again.
What are the Iranians trying to say? What is their point of view? Put yourself in their shoes. What are they trying to do? They want to have nuclear power plants that the United States in the past set them up to start. Eisenhower and Kennedy set up their programs. And the dullest faction, this international globalist faction,
in fairness, sir, in fairness,
Kennedy and tried to put us in the position of a British Empire instead of the America that brought electricity to the world.
But in fairness, those things that occurred, Eisenhower and Kennedy, that was all pre-1979. Iran is not the same country it was in the 1950s or 60s. Let's just be honest about that.
Because of the dullest faction that overthrew the Shah to put British Petroleum back in charge of their oil. We didn't agree with that. That wasn't America's program. That was the British and American traders program to reduce America's influence in the world. We were the ones who brought the idea of self-government to the world, including Iran's self-government. When that was betrayed by Alan Dulles and British intelligence, overthrowing him, America suffered a terrible loss of influence that led to the mullahs taking over in 1979.
All right,
And
so let me ask you this.
we made that mistake. We're going to make that mistake tomorrow when we start
examine
bombing
that.
Iran.
When the mullahs of Iran say death to America, death to Israel, and we want nuclear weapons, you're okay with that?
They also say they want to have a nuclear power program.
Well, which part should we believe?
The United States. They say this. They say that. So
which part should we believe? Should we not believe that they believe death to America?
Believe President Roosevelt when he was in Tehran in 1943 and issued a report, the Hurley Report. Check it out, saying that Iran should be developed as a model for improving the lives of underdeveloped countries, and they should control their own resources, not the British. And when the Iranian parliament in 1951 nationalized the oil following FDR's lead, the dullest CIA, the dullest faction with the British, overthrew the democratic government of Mossadegh and the Iranian parliament and put the British Petroleum Company back in charge of their resources.
And sir, I will grant you that is a fascinating. I will grant you that's a fascinating history lesson. It is, but it's not the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or 70s. It's 2025, and the mullahs have been in charge since 1979. Regardless of how we got here, here's where we are.
We're also
and the people in charge in Tehran say death to America, death to Israel. We will not rest until these countries are wiped off the map. There's credible information that the Iranians would like to take out American bases throughout the Middle East. I have no reason to doubt that to be true, based on Iran funding the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the list goes on. Are they not the #1 state sponsor of terror? Are they not?
I'll give you one good reason to
answer the question. Are they not the #1 state sponsor of terrorism?
No, the state sponsor of terrorism is the international intelligence apparatus that threatened the life of President Trump again and again, tried to kill him. And they will do it if the United States humiliates itself by bombing a country that poses no threat to us.
So you think it's so? Who is this? Who is this international? I don't dispute it. But who is it?
The Five Eyes intelligence services. Why is
no? Who is the international cabal?
Blinded by cooperation with the other intelligence services that are dedicated to globalist aims, not to our national interests.
Well, you're right about one thing. I'll give you this. I'll give you this. You're right about one thing. We need a lot more time. You're exactly right about that. We need a lot more time. But boy, we slapped him across the face this morning, didn't we? We got him started. Listen, we're going to reach out. We're going to do a Spaces event or something, much longer format. You and I, we're going to talk. We're going to sort this out when we have more time and don't have to hurry. I appreciate you being here. Anton Chaitkin, author of Who We Are, America's Fight for Universal Progress. Sir, thank you. There you have it. There's a little spice in your morning. Spice it up. Look, lots of people, lots of opinions, lots of things that get stirred around, lots of questions to be asked. I'll be right back.